Huh. Okay. Hello, my name is Rob Hirschfeld. I am the host for today's OpenCrowbar planning meeting. It is October 22nd, and today is the part of our biweekly cycle where we talk about backlog, what's going on, and next week we talk about design topics, and so we alternate every other week. For today, actually, we've got lots of exciting stuff to talk about from a sprint perspective today. And the normal process here is that we would talk about, review the GitHub issues, and look at what's in the queue for the next sprint. In this case, I think we're also going to have some release conversations. Okay. And my machines are super slow. Okay. Is this fixed?
Which?
The clicking a specific deployment in nav doesn't work the first time?
No, that's the bug I told you about yesterday.
Oh, that's the bug. Okay.
I probably ought to update it to say Firefox only, but...
Yeah, that would be good. Okay, so that should stay in Broom. Which sprint are we closing? Are we trying to close two? We're trying to close two.
We closed one.
Okay, so this we're trying to close.
Two is what the next one would be. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just look at two. Add links on pages with dev systems. I saw a pull for this.
I don't think he fixed it, but.
Okay, so let's just switch the milestone. Can you switch it behind the scenes? Oops. Oh, you did. You did.
I didn't.
Where'd it go?
I think you may have. Oh, well. I'll look. Or maybe Randy did.
This is that pull that is, actually, I thought it was done.
It resorted. It still doesn't pass.
Oh, okay. So we need to finish doing that. So this actually should get moved to Broom 3. Doesn't seem to serve images for 1204. I haven't tested the Docker.
I fixed this fixes it, so you could.
Okay,
if you want
so let's
to,
close it.
But we haven't pulled the pull request in yet.
Ah, okay. Add links on dev systems is right there. So let's see. Need better ISO missing error message for provisioner server. Correct. Okay. Oh, that I actually did that. Or at least I put in the mechanism to do it. I didn't put in the message itself. Because I didn't replicate the problem.
Okay.
That is still missing. Switch key injection workaround. Shift metal integration. John's not here to do the demo. I don't think we're going to close this sprint. I think we've got a lot of the work nearly complete, but not done. Initial system configuration should not allow changing.
Yeah, that's
Huh. It does allow changing the roles?
It does. You can put all sorts of garbage on there, but you don't have to.
Okay. Is that probably okay? We're still waiting on Mike to do this. I haven't yanked out that code. I was hoping he would do it. This is that pull. This is we're not done with Broom 2. It's going to clearly be a longer sprint.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Add interface from UI using interfaces called 10 gig NIC patterns. Missing documentation errors. Okay, that's Broom 2. What do we have for milestones for 3?
There's nothing, or one thing maybe.
Okay, we could actually move that back to 2 because I don't think we should close milestone 2. Were we trying to? What was the target date? Yeah. All right, we need to decide. We need to do a bug cleanup day or something and just knock some of this stuff out. Because I think we're making a lot of progress, but we're not prioritizing based on the backlog issues here. And the frustration is most of these things are really simple to do, or just shouldn't be in this list anymore. So, for example, this documentation thing is a camshaft item. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Where do I fix that?
On the right, select milestone. A little down. There you go. No, not that one. Select milestone.
Okay.
So go back. Now click milestone.
Okay. Up here?
Yeah, that's what it worked for me.
Oh, I'm not logged in.
Oh, well, there you go.
None of this is going to work for me until I'm logged in. Now it'll be easier for me to make changes like that.
Yeah.
Right, so now I'm just switching this to camshaft. I'm not even sure. It's really camshaft.x or whatever we want to call that.
Sure, but
so we did finish things in. So here's the question. We did actually a lot of work in Broom 2. We had 4 items closed in Broom 2. Do we push them to Broom 3 and keep the cadence? I think we probably should.
right, probably.
And just recognize that we. So that's what we're saying is the open ones. This one. I can move them in bulk.
Yeah. All of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're only. It's not showing me the closed ones, I don't think.
It is not.
Okay. So that's fine. So the question is, all right, so that is move these to milestone 3. Okay. And then go back to milestones and say we are marked as closed for Broom 2. Part of the sprint that I don't like doing. Okay. So now we have 13 open items for Broom 3. We don't have a way to prioritize them, but we can decide that some things aren't going to happen.
We need a backlog. We need a holder. The thing.
So so from that perspective, what I would do is I would create a camshaft.x.
Well, or even just out there.
Call it backlog.
Yeah. And put them out there, right? Because nobody's signing up to do them, right? You and I are here, so the community is not working on these, right?
Yeah.
And so things that aren't assigned to you and I, or maybe Judd, and maybe Victor, and maybe Randy, right, don't really go forward until one of those people shows up and says they either have it or they're going to show up to one of these meetings and do it.
Yeah. I think that's the right strategy. All right, so here's backlog. No due date. And so what we're doing is we're coming back to Broom 3 and row highlighting backlog. That's a bug. We should fix that. Probably should fix that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can pull it in or not, right?
Bad links in dev systems. I'm going to move that into the backlog.
Well,
No error.
I want to say just
I'll
leave that one, right?
Okay. ISO messaging. I'm going to leave that one. But it's worth fixing. That's backlog. That's backlog. That's probably right for Broom. No, this is probably backlog.
Yeah.
Convert UI pages to refresh. That's backlog. That's a bug that we actually probably should fix. So I'll leave it. 10 gig NIC patterns, backlog. Hardware workload within Sledgehammer. That stays in Broom 3 and missing documentation. All right, so now these milestones all move to backlog. And now we have a reasonable list of stuff that might be able to get done for this sprint.
Yep.
I'm willing to. I've got the summit, but I'm willing to get these things knocked out.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Okay.
What were you asking?
Oh, what's the add interface from UI?
Oh, I can show you. Actually, let me show you from here. Somewhere in here. It's one of the places where I don't like the way Macs work. Switch window. So over here, if I go to Network plus Interfaces, and I click Add, there's a bug in this.
And then update doesn't work.
Actually, it looks like it did work. Maybe this is resolved. I need to look at the details on that bug in the bug more.
There's nothing on the bug. That's why I was asking.
Oh, this is something I have for Isaac to look at. Just clean up. We don't need the IPv6 addresses. But it'd be handy to have the IPv4 addresses on this list.
Yes.
No, because BMC address. Such an easy change too. But I believe it was here. Might have been. Yeah, no, it was here. Or maybe I fixed it. And it's all good. It looks like it's okay. Maybe I did. I thought I fixed it, but it wasn't complete. So I'll check, and then we'll be able to cross off that bug. But that bug was basically saying that the way this page worked is wasn't taking the changes. But apparently it is. Or maybe it was the BDD tests I had for it weren't right. I don't know.
It works.
Let me look at it and get some more details. It definitely seems to be working.
Yeah, it works for me. It doesn't render well, but it works for me.
Oh, in Firefox.
Firefox. Maybe I should get Chrome.
Maybe I should test in Firefox more. Oh, my poor machine's going to be dragging. Got a lot going on this machine.
I'll try Chrome. How do I install?
I'll try Firefox.
But anyway, okay.
That looks okay. I know. That looks okay. Oh, it doesn't work. You're right. Oh, that's annoying. And now it works. Ha!
No, if you click it once. Yeah, so if you click it, right, now click it, it works.
Okay.
So it's like Firefox, in dealing with the multi-levels, the multi-levels is not universally accepted, apparently.
Okay.
Or at least not necessarily as the authors of the spec, because I looked at it for a bit. And so some people do it correctly. And my guess is it's a browser bug that's not cool,
Okay.
but
That's all right. All right, so back to the regular schedule. Cool. I feel like that was useful. We actually have a reasonable amount of work, and community can look to that.
is Chromium?
On Linux, it is. Yeah.
It's called Chromium, right?
Mm.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a note in here.
I already have it.
Okay, good. All right. So that's that. Do you want to talk about the Broom release being cut? What the idea was, and is that do you mean that as the official? This is all right. I'll let you talk.
No, I got nothing other than I just tagged it, just like apparently I should go tag 2 here in just a second.
Okay.
All right, because we just cut 2, and 2 and 1 are going to be about the same. So, I mean, I've just been tagging the things once all the milestones are done. That's it.
Okay.
We'll probably continue to do so. I also just forgot we're recording this, so people can see it later. But, so, in fact, I will do that right now so that we can keep our cadence going.
Yeah, that would be a good official activity out of this meeting to cut the release. Cool. Oh, let me see if I can get. I have 2 different PackStack demos to do, which is super cool. Huh. Sorry, I have to install the Hangouts. So let me do a little demo of OpenStack. So I have a little bit of preface to say before I jump into it. Let's see. So one of the things that we've been working towards as we've been creating a company to support OpenCrowbar is that we wanted to be able to demonstrate ready-state capabilities. And one of the logical things for us to do based on our history is to do that using Crowbar or using OpenStack. And so Greg, over the last, and Greg, you can talk about some of the technical pieces, but over the last couple of weeks has taken Crowbar's ready-state capabilities and then built on top of that an OpenStack installed via PackStack. It's something we've talked about in community quite a bit, so it shouldn't be a surprise for everybody. We are doing it as a private beta, so it's not yet open source Apache for anybody to do it. We didn't feel like we could support that at this point, but it's something we would be happy to discuss collaborating with other people around that code base. And it's pretty straightforward to implement it. I have a system where I was about to install PackStack on. Let me see if I can get that one up too. The thing that's weird to me is I'm not trying to get into the Hangout and I can't. On my other system. Oh, here it is. I have not seen it ask me for getting Hangouts before. Greg, sorry, do you...
Huh.
It's weird. I thought I'd done Hangouts on this machine before, and it's not letting me do that. Let me try it again. Sorry, be patient. Here's Hirschfeld. This is me. It's like I'm not signed in. I'm definitely signed in to Google. Here we go. I found it. I just had to find it. It was off my Google Plus page. No video, no audio. Joining. Wow, I'm going to be sharing screens from multiple computers. This is a lot of screen, so please be patient. All right, so now I'm set up to do demos from 2 different computers. Let me start on this machine first. So on this machine, what I've got is, oh boy, I already did it. Basically, when you go through the Ready State Wizard, it's going to give you a screen that looks like this. We ought to add this as a bug, by the way. You need to fix that. And one of the roles in here is this OpenStack PackStack role. Since I've used it, it's not there. You click that, you click Add Roles. You pick one of your nodes to be the controller. I always like to pick the .81 machine. So I've gone through the Ready State. I've installed CentOS 7. Actually, I haven't. I've picked that I'm going to install CentOS 7, like from here. And then I choose this OpenStack PackStack, and then it adds PackStack base, PackStack node. Can people see that? Yeah. And then from there, it basically creates a system and installs PackStack and gets it ready to go. And that looks like this. I know this is small, but so that puts me, now I'm on my admin node. And from here, I can become the Crowbar user, which I have to do if I want to SSH in to other machines. And then I can SSH as root to 192.168.124.81. That was a choice I made, the .81. And now I'm logged into the virtual machine that is my .81 server, which by choice is this same PackStack base install machine. And then from there, installing PackStack becomes super easy. So installing PackStack for that looks like this. There's just a PackStack line. Basically, I say PackStack, install host, and then I give it the 3 machines Crowbar assigns these IP addresses automatically. They're controllable. You could change them if you didn't want your host to use that subnet. It uses EPL, and then it doesn't provision the demo VM because we don't want to include that in the base image. There's a bug there. I can leave Greg to talk about that in a minute. But basically, after I've gotten to ready state, before that, I need to switch into the PackStack user. I have to install as PackStack. There we go. Now I can issue that command. Boom. Did I just mess this up? I think I did. Greg, question for you. It looks like I started the install from not being PackStack. Should I just
just go to PackStack and start over. It won't.
And then I give it a password.
You need to be root, and then you need to su to PackStack.
Okay, hold on.
PackStack doesn't have a user password right now.
Okay, so I'm in root. SU PackStack like that.
Space dash space PackStack.
Right, like SU. Okay, you can't see it. Now I'm in as PackStack.
Now you should be able to do the command you did before.
Okay, so I messed up. Hold on, I have to. It's easy enough. rm-r bar temp. It just created the subdirectory as yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. What happened is I started it with the wrong user, and so it left some detritus I had to clean up first. But now it is actually installing PackStack on the system. It's hard to see my typing, but literally my machine is going through and doing OpenStack, in this case Juno install of OpenStack using PackStack, and the fact that I could do it with just one command is a virtue of the fact that Crowbar brought all the systems up to ready state with the networking and the IPs and all this stuff that PackStack installed. It's certainly not a complete finished OpenStack deployment. It's an example of how much time and effort prep saves by having the environment ready to run PackStack. And so I can, in true kitchen cooking show style, what I've got is I've got another machine right here that's completed the deployment, and for that one, somewhere in here I actually have OpenStack running. No, I closed it. Oh no, here it is. So this is the OpenStack install that Crowbar did. This one's a 4-node machine, and I should have saved the admin password, which is right here. So when all that stuff completes, what's going to happen is it's going to go through, and you can actually see it's installing all of the roles and modules and things like that. It's basically Puppet manifests. It's finished. It gives me a whole bunch of information about where I can go to click on different things. This is the IP address of the system. And then it says, hey, by the way, I stuffed the password into this Keystone RC file. And so to open the Keystone RC file, I actually have to be root. So I exited, I catted that file. That file told me my user information. This is the password I need to log in. It's going to be different every time, unless you change it during the Crowbar install process. Password. And this is OpenStack. I haven't yet uploaded a volume, so I can't do any machine anything until I have uploaded a image into the system for it to do deployments. But you can see I've got the whole basic system running. I've got a whole bunch of test users pretty much a complete pack stack deployment. The cool thing for me is I was able to do it. This is a multi-node process. This is a pretty good machine, but it's got 12 gigs of RAM and then four CPUs. And so it was able to run through this whole process in soup to nuts about an hour. Once I had the Crowbar admin node up, I could build 4 Census machines really fast in VMs and then run through the pack stack installing it in just a couple minutes. So pretty significant feat from a OpenStack deploy perspective. And then this other machine is I have a lab system I'm building of little mini servers, and I'm just starting to bring them online. All right, Greg, technical comments? That was the demo.
That's pretty much, you now have the ability to drive OpenStack through its pack stack installer, and it seems to function as well as the pack stack installer does.
No, nothing additional promised. Yes, and I think it would be really cool to have some additional installers, able to work in this, because we're not certainly endorsing pack stack from that perspective. Oh shoot, I keep doing the wrong thing. What we're really just doing is showing the baseline capability. And I'm going to write a blog post about that and hopefully do a formal demo. Okay, I'm watching. My other machine is it's busy, but it's not overloaded. And then this machine's doing its thing. And let me go back to. Okay. So that was That was the demo. Can you speak to work that Victor's been completing in his polls? Because I know he's been pretty active.
Let's see. Victor has been making changes to some of the hardware to better support and just add back support for the RAID and BIOS subsystems on the hardware branch. He currently has a pull request pending that will allow for the node roles to move up and down the tree so that attributes can be better injected, and parents who have run whose attributes are modified by children can now pay attention to that and get rerun successfully without having to do some of the gyration that we've been going through in the past. It also lets us do more focused node role execution or re-execution for only things that have changed.
Okay.
That's pending and should be in shortly. There are also documentation generation changes, so we now have internal docs programmatically generated through Yard. So.
And then you also did the code coverage.
Yeah, I added that in there as a agenda topic.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
And so at this point, I've been looking through what we should test and how we should test, and so the results of that over this last sprint have been to enable the RSpec and rake test suites. While they don't do much, they still do a little bit, and they give us the ability to start testing the internals of models that may not be directly accessible or easily accessible through the BDD tests. In the process, I also enabled the code coverage tracking for all of the Travis tests. I mean, technically, it also amasses code coverage for you when you run your tests locally and puts it in the code coverage directory in your Rails directory. but under Travis, it publishes it to Coverall, which is a free service for open source projects that tracks code coverage and does it over time and pull requests, and is integrated with Travis and GitHub. So if you're watching our GitHub feeds and such, you might notice that we are generating code coverage now on all of the pull requests. And we actually have good coverage, or surprisingly high coverage, considering how much testing and effort we put into testing. But the number's slightly inflated because it's only things that we've pulled into the Rails app, not all of the code available to the Rails app.
Right. It's really a dev, with the things that the dev mode can test. Really
right. And so in the process of that, I also put out a note on the OpenCrowbar forum about where we are with testing and where I think we should go, and put out for some requests on what we might want to do. So that's out there. And Judd's already commented some. And
cool.
We'll be adding issues and stuff for us to make progress on some of those things.
Cool. I really do think that's a huge win from allowing people to play with the project and understand things. A couple of days ago you were playing it with dev mode and the BDD stuff on your local system. Were the instructions okay for that? I haven't reviewed those for quite a while, but
I didn't use them.
Okay.
I just ran development and then found the tool script and ran it. It seemed to work. So that's fine. There's a set of follow-on items code-wise, but there's also some follow-on items that aren't necessarily code-related around documentation and just script tooling and expectations around pull requests and stuff. So.
Makes sense. Yeah, we definitely have a backlog of documentation.
Yeah. So documentation is one, to make sure it's kind of up and what we expect, and then the next will be to start trying to require some measure of unit tests or BDD tests for features or pull requests as they come in for bugs and such as that. So, if as possible, but anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to see us do it. I haven't thought through what keeps us from getting more coverage with BDD. I suspect that if we looked at API coverage, our percentages would be higher. There's things we don't touch on the UI, but code-wise, the UI is pretty small.
Yeah, the bigger part of code coverage that's missing, and even in looking at our existing spec tests, most of them don't actually test the error failures or error paths. And so most of those error paths aren't necessarily drivable even from the UI, right? Because its job is to prevent them from happening. Or the API, right? Because in some regards, it's also meant to prevent them from happening. And so part of that is to...
yeah, that's where spec is really good for that.
Right. So that's why I...
coverage report.
And so part of the next request, or one of the thoughts is to merge some of that stuff so it doesn't we don't have too many test systems, right?
Right.
But that's in the note I sent out. So
yeah, there are some fail tests in BDD where I actually I intentionally injected bad parameters and then captured the result if it was if I felt like it was an important thing to check.
Oh yeah, no, some of that is definitely the case. If you send a bad ID or something like that, we should return with a 404 not found or whatever, right?
Correct.
All that
And
stuff is,
some of those tests are super easy to write because you're just, you know, BDD is
yeah.
a one-line command to say and should return, you know, when I send this badly formed URL, then I should get a 404 or a 500. Actually, is more accurate. And that's easy enough to do.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. You're actually seeing the changed view. That's cool. I haven't seen that one before. But
Huh.
so you can see on when the code coverage, that's kind of cool. If you select the All tab, it'll show you all the files that are touched as part of the testing. But you can select the Changed tab, which this is the first pull request we have that is actually running against something that was already there. So,
Oh, okay.
so in the sense that my first pull request that was doing this didn't have these tabs because there was no previous source code line to compare against.
Right.
So here you can see these are the things that were in his pull request. And you can see what was changed. So like he made changes. We covered 2 lines of his change, but of the change, we also missed 10 lines, right? Because the current tests don't.
The net. No.
Right.
Where
And
you
so
see
the
the
net.
summary? Where you?
Well, for like the deployment roles controller.
Oh, okay. You're looking for one. Okay. Oh, so it's not 10%. It's plus 10 lines. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So he added 20. Right. He updated some lines. He changed some lines. Right. Of those, we increased coverage on 2 lines, but we missed 10 lines. Right. That he added. Right. So the net effect is that we lost coverage there. Right.
Right. That makes sense.
And the same thing for some of the other ones.
Yeah, and you remove some lines of code, but that removing lines of code actually improves your percentages from that. Okay.
Right, or they can, yeah. Or in this case, it looks like the application controller, right? He added a whole bunch of stuff, and it just so happens our test hit that already. So or some of it, right? So it implicitly, but in the process, he added new code that wasn't hit at all, right? But the net was that
I wonder if this will show me the file with a coverage overlay.
It will.
Nice. Okay. Oh, right. So here's right. Some of that stuff is going to be hard to cover.
Right. So that's why it's hard to do. Some of that's hard to do through BDD, but easier to do through spec, right? Because you can either mock it or call it directly and stuff like that to make sure it works correctly.
I'm surprised this didn't get covered because we actually used to do that. And help, I don't think we use. Huh. I don't think I don't know where we would use those. Maybe the CLI does. And one of the things BDD can do that I don't have it doing very much of is testing the CLI. So it would be very
easy to
create BDD tests to cover the CLI also.
Actually, that's a good idea. We should do that.
It wouldn't be a very hard exercise. Wait, I speak too soon. I think it might be hard in Travis because I don't know how. You have to look at the relative paths and how the CLI works in a dev environment. You could do it. Somebody would just need to make sure there's a way to run the CLI from a dev environment.
Right.
I used to be able to do it, and I stopped. I didn't keep working on it because I couldn't make it work in a single machine. But all the infrastructure to make BDD test the CLI is in place.
Cool. And that would be reasonable to do in BDD.
Yeah.
Because it'd be good to drive it, or at least the external API part of it from BDD.
Well, that's right. So that way you'd actually know if you'd broken the CLI or the API, because the API coverage is pretty good.
Right.
From a
and so to finish this out,
yeah.
My current recommendation is that we use BDD for external facing testing, right? Because it runs external to our choice of system. So we should use it to validate UI, we should use it to validate API, we should use it to validate CLI. The thought is that we would then use spec, or our spec, in this case, to validate the Rails internals of models and libraries and helpers and even some controllers where we need to, because we can't necessarily get at the full error paths that we want to validate. Okay. Now that still leaves the question of what we're going to do for scripts and chef recipes and all that other stuff, but I figure let's get this started.
I think at some point we're just going to have a physical smoke environment.
Maybe. There are things to do with chef stuff and scripts and stuff.
That that's true. That's true. We could actually test, do a virtual smoke test and do that. The nice thing is that would be the last. It would be a chain. So you do it after Travis said yes. You would kick off a smoke and have an additional. That's going to be a big thing to build. The full-time person.
Yeah.
Spending time on it.
So.
And ultimately, what I'd almost want to do is have if it's automated, just smoke everything. Okay, cool. We're rocking. I love having you in. You missed the lean times when we would get together for one of these calls and not have much to show for it, but. This is a lot of ground being covered and a lot of really important material. So cool, good work.
Yeah, it's making progress. We'll just see where it goes.
Yep. Well, I think I'm hoping people will be pretty excited at the OpenStack Summit to see this type of work. All right. Greg, I will catch you later. Thank you.
See you later. Bye.